All right, guys, iron versus driver. I get asked all the time, do I set up with my iron like I do my driver and vice versa? I get asked this all the time, and the answer is no. The setup is quite different, and there's a lot of things that are different, such as our turning and our tilting and how we're trying to deliver this club into the ball. Be sure to stick around for my key points on what to do with the driver and what to do with the iron. All right, so to get started, all you're gonna need for this is an alignment stick or a golf club if you don't have an alignment stick. We're gonna start with the iron first. So we're gonna talk about our setup keys with the iron. So with an iron, generally speaking, we want to hit down into the golf ball, right? That can vary a little bit depending on club head speed, but the vast majority of golfers, we need to hit a little bit down on the golf ball, right? So setup's going to be a little bit different from drivers. So I'm going to show you how I teach all of my students to set up with their 7-iron and then base everything else off of that. So with the setup, you're going to set down the stick. You're going to set down the stick like this. And when we get set up, I want you to set up with your 7-iron. I want you to feel like your lead heel is about the width of your 7-iron away plus a golf ball. So from there, that puts the golf ball right under my left ear. So if I dropped a golf ball from my left ear, it would fall down on that stick. So this is kind of our baseline we want to work off of. So 7-iron's our baseline. We're going to adjust from there. Now, if I have like a pitching wedge, I'm just going to marginally, very little, move a little bit further to put the ball back in my stance. If I have like a 4-iron, I'm going to move it up a little bit, maybe 2 golf balls away. Right? I'm going to base everything off my 7-iron and slightly adjust from there. Now, that being said, when we get all the way up to the driver, what I actually want to see is maybe have your heel like maybe a ball or a little bit less away from that line, right? I don't want your foot way up here. I don't want your foot way back here. And I definitely don't want your foot like this. So about like a ball away from that. But the moral of this, we want to base everything off the 7-iron, right? So if we get the 7-iron ball position correct and then adjust slightly from there, it's a great baseline for us to go off of rather than just guessing. Okay, guys, so we've established the ball position with the 7-iron and how that's our baseline, and we're going to base things off of that, okay? Now with the 7-iron in the setup, we've got the ball position decided. As far as tilting, all I want you to do is the left hand or your lead hand, maybe you're left-handed, your lead hand is the further one up on the grip and the right hand's the lower one. So naturally, that's going to pull the right shoulder down a little bit and the left shoulder is going to be a little bit higher. That's about all the tilt I want you to really worry about. I don't want you to try and manufacture this tilt and feel like you're doing that, side bending. I just want you to get set up, grip onto the club like this, hinge a little bit, bend your knees, drop the club down, and boom, right there, my left shoulder is a little higher, my right shoulder is a little bit lower. With the driver, we're going to have a little bit more manipulation at the start for tilting. That has to do with the loft on the club. So just know, I don't want you trying to feel like you're pushing your hip out, trying to get your shoulder tilted. All I want you to do, get set up, get your feet placed where you want them, grip onto the club, hinge a little bit from the hip, bend a little bit at the knee, and then drop the club down. And boom, just where my hands rest on the club will dictate the tilt of my shoulders and the tilt of my body. So again, don't feel like you do this or you're doing this motion. Just feel like you grab onto it, left hand's higher, so my left shoulder is going to be higher. All right, so now let's roll into the driver. This is where things get a little bit more complicated. So in setup, we have our 7-iron baseline, right? So that'd be about my 7-iron there. I'm just gonna feel like I back my left foot up, maybe about a ball away from that, right? I struggle myself with getting too far up, which causes me to actually hit it more left, swing more left and pull it. So I really work on this myself all the time. And then from there, so now that I have that established, this is a little outside my left ear. Now that I have that established, we're going to work on our tilting, right? The best way I can teach this and the best way I've found with juniors and so on is I want them to take their hands off the club. You can set it down or whatnot. You're going to take both your hands and put them on your thighs. So get in your golf posture, put them on your thighs. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to slide it down until you get to close to where your knee's at. You don't need to go all the way down, but just a little bit. You want to feel like your left hand could go in your pocket, right? From there, I've established a bit of a tilt. I've had to push my hips forward just a tiny bit. And then from there, I'm pretty much good to go. So again, to establish this tilt with the driver, we need to get in our golf posture, hands on our hips, slide our right hand down to where it's just above our kneecap, and we could put our left hand in our pocket. From there, we've established our tilt. The reason this tilt is very important is because this driver I'm holding right now is a 9-degree driver, and my driver, this one actually isn't my driver, but my driver in particular is actually turned down to about 7.5 degrees. So there's very little loft. In golf, speed equals height. So the more speed we have, the more height we can get it, right? So I have a little bit more speed, and the way I launch the ball, I need a lower launching shaft, right? So with that being said, for most people, there is not enough loft on the driver to help them get it up in the air. That's why you see people, these companies coming out with 12-degree drivers, these high launching shafts, high launching driver heads. They're trying to help people get as much carry distance as possible. I think a lot of it starts with just setup. Merely setup can help a person hit the ball a lot better and get it a lot higher in the air. So get this tilt down, understand tilting, understand why you need to tilt, and then you're good to go from there. All right, so now we're gonna talk about how the club actually needs to be delivered into the golf ball, right? So generally with the driver, it's sitting up on a tee. We don't have very much loft with this. We've established our tilt, our ball position, all that. We actually need to feel like we're hitting up on this golf ball. It's on a tee. If you try to feel like you're hitting down, if you're someone that sets up with the ball in the middle of your stance and you're hitting these balls that are starting left and spinning away right, it's because you're hitting down on this golf ball. You're probably hitting it high heel on the face and it's spinning like crazy. So generally speaking, I want you to feel like as you go up to the top, we've established this tilt position. As I start the club down, I'm going to feel like my hands drop. And then as I come into the ball, I'm going to try to feel like I'm hitting more up on it by allowing myself to tilt back a little bit, but I'm still getting my pressure into my lead foot, right? I don't want to feel like I'm hanging back on my right side all day and falling back. I'll probably bottom out early and hit there. We still need to push into our left, but as we push into our left, we're going to feel like we push up, which is going to send our shoulder up, which is going to send the club down to the ball and up. So I don't want you to feel like you push left and stay left, right? You need to push into your left and then pull up and push up as if I had like a rope on the ground and I was pushing like this and pulling it up as hard as I could. That's going to help you send the club up into the air. All right, now with an iron, little different situation. We actually are going to deliver the club going down a little bit into the golf ball. So as I set up here, we've established that in the previous video. I'll link that here. We want to get our ball position correct. Our tilt's good. We naturally fall into that tilt motion. And then from there, I'm going to deliver the club a little bit more down or a descending blow. So as I swing into this, I'm going to push right. I'm going to push left. And I actually try to feel like my left shoulder drives down a little bit. And then as I come down, that's when I start pushing up with the left. Because it's a little bit shorter club, it's going to be easier for us to get our hands a little bit in front and us to hit down a little bit more on the golf ball. But generally speaking, what I want you to take away from this is the driver, we're going to try to hit up on a little bit more to maximize carry distance. And the iron, we're going to have a descending blow into. The iron, we're going to have ourselves push into our left and not push up as soon and back, right? We're actually going to feel like we're moving further forward, getting our sternum on this side of the line rather than meeting the line and moving back like we would with the driver. All right, guys, so I hope today cleared up some of the misconceptions with the iron swing, the driver swing. I hope the setup prompts are going to be really easy for you. Again, all you need is a stick to do a lot of this stuff. Understand the tilting and turning with each club and how it's quite a bit different depending on the loft of the club. So I hope these misconceptions are taken care of for you. You can apply this into your own game and hopefully maximize that driver distance. Or if you're pretty good at the driver, hopefully hit your 7-iron a little bit better. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn that bell on to receive notifications for when the next video drops. I really enjoyed making this video for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.